Reports today that Neymar, guys, has come out to his teammates and apologized for what happened over the weekend between he and Edinson Cavani. That on the heels of some very interesting quotes, somewhat more firm quotes from Unai Emery. This is what he had to say. The two penalty takers are Cavani and Neymar. Okay, so he's still kind of riding the fence there because they are capable of taking on that responsibility, although others can too. The first taker is Cavani. The second is Neymar. We'll get some thoughts from the panel on this in just a sec, but let's start with Sid Lowe. Sid, I thought the point of Neymar leaving Barcelona was to be the man, and isn't the man supposed to take the penalties?
Perhaps so, and presumably that's what Neymar thinks, but someone has to tell Cavani that. And of course, if Cavani hasn't been told it before the game, when the penalty arrives in the game, that's when he's going to get told. And then, of course, we have this whole thing playing out. There's another little element to this as well, which is that Cavani's contract includes a clause in which he gets a bonus payment if he's top scorer in the league. And so, of course, it's quite important for him to take the penalties because they can make a significant financial difference at the end of the season as well.
Guys, Emery has laid down the law. Neymar has apologized. Is this done and dusted? Are we never going to hear about this again?
Has Unai Emery really laid down the law?
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty soft...
The penalty takers are Cavani and Neymar and everybody else.
Yeah.
But I've got Cavani. I mean, that's not laying down the law.
At least he said he was first.
Listen, Unai Emery came off as soft in how he dealt with the incident first off over the weekend. This is just kind of doubling down on his softness. Make your mind up, make a decision, and be firm with it. This is part of the problem. This is part of PSG's problem all of last season, if you ask me. Meltdown in the Champions League, meltdown in League and now you have two players going head-to-head on the field, and even then, even after all the lessons of last season learned, you can't have any kind of authority or authoritative stance. This is on Unai Emery. And the fact that it continues to fester, or it's festered this long, again, is down to the manager.
You know, you said earlier about, Neymar came to PSG to be the man. Mm-hmm. Well, to be the man, it's about your actions. Mm-hmm. It's not about what you say, it's about what you do. And acting like a spoiled brat and wanting the ball off the guy who's the penalty taker is not going to get anybody any respect, regardless of what your name is.
I think everybody comes out of this badly. The lads are right. It's a couple of schoolboys in the playground arguing over this penalty. Unfortunately for world football, all eyes are on it. They're massive superstars. And then the manager, it's took him, the game was at the weekend, it's took him until now to come out and with this really soft statement. It's really embarrassing. It's really embarrassing.
You talk about personalities, big personalities who dominate games, who can command dressing rooms. Neymar could have learned from nobody better than Lionel Messi. Can anybody ever see Lionel Messi getting into a scrap with one of his teammates on the field over a penalty?
Never.
You can't see it, whether you expect him to take it or not, whether he's the man or not. And he has established himself as the man a long time ago. But part of the beauty of Lionel Messi is he doesn't get into these petty bickering issues, and he lifts those around him. I'm not sure how Neymar comes out of this smelling of roses as much as he's trying to with this apology.
Let's go out to Sid here. Sid, you obviously covered Neymar with Barcelona. Was there any sign of something like this when he was at Barcelona playing with Messi, playing with Suarez? Did you ever come across anything like it?
Not really. I mean, obviously we saw with Neymar occasions where he would showboat a little bit, and on numerous occasions when that would really wind up opponents. At times, even Luis Enrique said, I can understand opponents trying to kick him when he does this kind of thing, but not really with his own teammates. I think one of the things that perhaps we're appreciating or starting to see here is kind of the next element to what the guys are talking about in the studio. Have you ever seen Leo Messi do this? No. In fact, you can take this a step further. If Neymar was really trying to get out of Barcelona to escape the shadow of Leo Messi, what he doesn't seem to realise, or maybe what he didn't realise if that was the decision he took, was that Messi was shining the spotlight on him. Messi was providing for him. He was giving him opportunities. He was giving him penalties. Remember that famous penalty where Messi ran up and laid it off and Luis Suarez scored, the Cruyff penalty? Well, that was actually meant for Neymar. And that kind of thing was done consistently. You look in the pre-season tour in the summer as well, at a time in which Barcelona's players knew that Neymar was thinking about leaving, and Messi actually saying to Neymar, you want to be the star? OK, you stand in the penalty area and I'll give you the ball. So quite apart from Messi not imposing on Neymar, he actually spent a lot of his time trying to big Neymar up. And Neymar's now moved to somewhere else where he is the big star, but I suspect the people in the dressing room maybe don't see it like that.
Sid Lowe, simply put, what is going on with Real Madrid?
Well, it's not so easy to give you an answer that's simply put, unfortunately. I mean, Zidane's response to this was, look, that's football. It happens in football and you have to accept it. He talked about Real Madrid being a team that perhaps lacked a bit of luck, a team that maybe were not so effective in front of goal as they should be. And you look at this run, and by the way, it's the first time in 20 years that Real Madrid have started with 3 home games and not won any of them. It's only the 3rd time it's ever happened to them in their history. But Zidane was looking at, for example, 27 shots in this game. I think it was around about 24, 25 in the game before that. Around about the same sort of figure against Valencia. And so there is an argument that says that Madrid have been just a little bit unfortunate, and Zidane himself said that the luck that we had last year, we've not had this year, and you know, we don't have anything in particular to worry about. But I do think there's a slight sluggishness about Real Madrid, that the chances they created, while they created enough of them to have won all 3 games, there's no doubt at all about that, they probably weren't creating chances of quite the clarity that they would have liked.
73 games. That's how long it's been since Real Madrid were held scoreless. Here you get a look at just how unique a situation the Madridistas find themselves in. Last time they were 3 games winless at home, 2005-2006. That season, they finished 2nd to Barcelona. Is it on right, guys? Is this just football?
I don't think it is.
I
think when you look at the game the other day, they were chasing the game. You know, if you're in a streak where you just can't find a win, just take the point. I know it's Real Madrid and you want to win every single game, but when you expose yourself so much at the back and concede a goal so late, you're not finishing off your chances. That's a recipe for losing matches.
So take a point at home against Betis?
Well, what was it, the 90-something minute that he scored? I mean, so at that stage, sometimes it's not your day in front of goal. You know, with the talent that Real Madrid have got, you would say, well, they always should have the day in front of goal, but they didn't. So we'll just take the point and we'll get out of the building. I think it's as simple as that.
Do you know, unfortunately for Zidane, fans and everybody else around the world that follow Real Madrid won't take it's just football as an answer. The fact is it's poor defending to lose a goal in the last minute. It's poor play in the attacking third, not taking your chances. And you're giving Barcelona pretty much 3 games of a start in a league where, you know, you can't afford to give your rival anything. And everybody's saying, well, don't worry, everything will be okay. I'm sorry. I think they should be worried.
I agree. I think, and as much as Paul, you're saying take a point at home to Betis, you're already chasing Barcelona, so to speak, 4 points behind Barca before these games this weekend. You need to win games, and in a league where, especially with Barcelona and Lionel Messi in this kind of mood, you don't have much wiggle room. You have to win your home games. So you kind of understand Real Madrid chasing, but you end up conceding a goal as late and as sloppily as you do. You give yourself an even bigger mountain to climb. Credit to Zidane for not panicking, but I'm not sure that everybody in Madrid feels the same.
Madrid created a ton of chances, and quite a few of them fell to Cristiano Ronaldo. 12 shots yesterday, 0 goals to show for it. Sid, a player who has been the target of Madrid fans so far this season, Gareth Bale, are they starting to shift their focus a little more towards Ronaldo after yesterday's performance?
No, not really. I mean, bear in mind that, you know, everything Ronaldo has achieved for Real Madrid over the years, I think that gives him a little bit of protection. We've seen before that he is a player that's been whistled by the fans, whose attitude at times doesn't necessarily please them. But I think in terms of, is this guy worth his place in the team? Is this the guy that we really believe in? No, I don't think so. Bear in mind that Ronaldo came off the back of a 5-game ban, which meant that this was his first league game of the season. And there was a real sense, actually, that Ronaldo's going to come back and he's going to resolve that problem of not scoring goals and not winning games that they'd had against Levante and they had against Valencia, and it didn't happen. But no, I don't think this means turning the attention away from Bale and onto him. I think Bale took a little bit of criticism last night, which he probably didn't deserve last night, certainly no more than the other teammates. But that's not to say that you know, that they're not going to point the finger at Ronaldo, certainly not yet.
Barcelona, interesting right now. They lose Ousmane Dembele a month and a half. Does this mean more Gerard Deulofeu? Like, what's the solution here for Barcelona without Dembele?
Well, we don't yet know that for sure. I mean, the injury looks like it's going to be even longer than a month and a half. The operation was successful, and he's talking about 2 months. But I think a cautious approach suggests that it could be longer than that. At the weekend against Getafe, when he went off, the automatic substitution was Deulofeu in his place. This is a great opportunity for Deulofeu, one that he would never really have expected to have had this season. You know, he arrives at the club and Neymar goes, and the person who replaces Neymar gets injured for what's likely to be quite a long period of time. So great opportunity for him. But it wouldn't surprise me enormously if Ernesto Valverde tries to shore up the midfield and provide a little bit more presence in the middle rather than adding a guy to the forward line. So, as I say, the automatic choice is Deulofeu, but I don't necessarily think that will be the choice in every game.
Paul Mariner is here with me, so you know we have to speak about Arsenal, especially some interesting quotes from Arsene Wenger. Let's start off with his one on Alexis Sanchez. Now, we know we're seeing him start more in the cups, Maras, and Arsene Wenger says that this is not a form of punishment after the whole little Barcelona transfer saga that fell through. Lacazette as well. He says he's not ready for the physicality of the Premier League just yet.
Pardon?
Yep. I'm hoping you make sense of this, Maris.
Well, what are we, with pre-season included, what are we, 2.5, 3 months almost into this season?
We're in it.
And Arsenal have supposedly one of the finest backroom staffs to get people rehabbed, fit, up to speed. So what's going on? What did he pay for, 50-odd million? I mean, come on, that's an absolutely ridiculous statement.
And that begs the differ. I mean, well...
When I saw the likes of Ozil, Lacazette and Sanchez as a possible front three, I was licking my lips. I thought, I can't wait for this to happen. Because Lacazette is a finisher. When he gets in the box, he'll finish. And who are great suppliers? These two.
But Arsene Wenger still doesn't seem to know his best 11. So this is your best 11 for them right now, Maris. Just run us through it quickly again.
Here's what I want. I want creativity going forward. I've got it. Because I'm going to allow Bellerin and I'm going to allow Monreal to bomb on. I want security at the back. Now, there might be some eyebrows raised here about Koscielny and Mertesacker. Mertesacker, maybe they think, oh, he's past it, he's done. But when they play together, he plays with his brain, Mertesacker. He doesn't get exposed. We've seen him in big games that everybody says, oh, he's going to get run over. He doesn't get run over. He uses his intelligence. Bellerin can bomb forward. Now, I have an issue because of the recruitment at Arsenal. I don't think the recruitment's been particularly good. I want to try and find a place for Kolasinac because I think he sort of imposes his physicality on teams. And because Arsenal have been known as a bit of a soft touch at times. They won a soft touch against Chelsea last week, so I want it to be solid at the back so they can protect. I want them to bomb forward with 6 or 7 players. I think if they do that, they'll be great going forward, but very solid when they lose possession.
All right, Paul Mariner for Arsenal manager, because it doesn't seem like Arsene Wenger knows his best 11. Everyone has been criticizing him about that. This is Paul Mariner's best 11, and we can continue tracking the Gunners here at ESPNFC.com. Paul Mariner is back in the house, and he just can't wait to talk about Manchester United and Marcus Rashford, Maras, because Rashford, what a talent. And I know we saw some of his best, or if you want to call it some of his best, some of his skill in that match against Burton, even though it's
Against who?
Burton.
Okay.
I know, that's the point. And even though it's only the League Cup, but he did what we expected him to do, and that is shine. So how vital is he for this Manchester United team?
He's absolutely key. People are saying he should go away and hone his skills and be the man somewhere else. I totally disagree. I think that Zlatan's not ready yet, and Lukaku's banging the goals in, but he needs to rest now and again. If he gets injured, God forbid that he does. Rashford is the heir apparent to that number 9 shirt, so he should stay exactly where he is. I think under Mourinho, I think he's progressing nicely.
Well, Jose Mourinho definitely was very complimentary of Marcus Rashford after that game, and he does seem to obviously have a role for him at Manchester United. But right now, what is it? Because with this talent we're seeing from Rashford, he's now the backup for Lukaku. What happens when Zlatan comes back? Does he just become third choice? And even if he goes out wide a bit, he's got Anthony Martial. And this isn't a talent that should be sat waiting as somebody's backup.
But that's what happens when you're a young player. When you're 19 years of age, everybody can talk a great game about your game.
But strike while the iron's hot. He's hot now.
Against Burton Albion.
No, but in general, Maras, you know that.
Look, listen. If Marcus Rashford has got what we all think he's got, he'll push through. He's with a good manager, he's with an unbelievable football club. It seems as though he loves it there. He's got to put his nose to the grindstone. He's got to work on his finishing. He's got to work on his game. Is he the finished article? No, he's not. But is he getting there? Yes, he is getting there. Now, at the moment, he's just got to bide his... At 19 years of age, sometimes when you're at Real Madrid or Man United or Barcelona or the top clubs in the world, you've just got to bide your time. And
you don't want too much too soon.
No, and I think he will be able to progress nicely under Mourinho and at United, whether he plays on the right or the left or through the middle. I don't think he's particularly bothered because it looks as though he loves to play football. And I think that's key for Mourinho at the moment because, as I said, if Lukaku does go down, he needs Rashford. So he can't let him go anywhere at the moment, and I don't think that's ever been on the cards.
All right, well, I think Marcus Rashford, based on the way he's been working, does understand that role very well.
He does.
That celebration you're hearing is coming from Diego Costa's house because he is on his way back to Atletico Madrid. Chelsea and Atleti have agreed a transfer for the Brazilian or Spaniard, whatever you want to call him these days, Paul Mariner, finally.
I think everybody's relieved, to be honest. I think, look, the goals that he scored for Chelsea, it's fantastic, like a 1 in 2, I think he was. Great on the field, sometimes great, not so great on the field insofar as the red card waiting to happen. I think that, you know, with...
But Atleti know him. They know him better than anyone could argue.
And more important, Simeone knows him really, really well. So he'll be laying it down. I think it's going to be fascinating, his antics again in La Liga. I don't think he's going to change his way of playing. Look, the happy days that Chelsea had with him, they'll cherish, the fans will cherish, but they won't cherish the antics. You know, he sets off well during the season and then he sort of comes up with all sorts of weird things. I don't want to be here, I do want to be here. He's tripping people up, fouling people, elbowing, you name it. Mm-hmm. I was a big fan of Diego Costa. When he first came to the Premier League, I thought I liked his antics. It was old school. Yes, he played on the edge, but he did the business. He scored goals.
Old school.
Yeah. Well, when the rules were not
missing out on something special.
Are the Premier League missing out on something special?
Yes, did the Premier League and Chelsea miss out on something
special? No, I don't think so.
Could they have handled it a bit better?
Well, it depends. Look, well, you're alluding to the tweet. Was it a tweet? Was it a tweet? Was it about the pre-season? Was it about you're not in my plan? We'll never know that. I don't think we'll ever know that truly. I think what's important now is that Morata's in the building. Players are gelling at Chelsea. I don't think they're flowing just yet, but I think they will eventually get to that point that Conte wants them to get to. I think that this is, you know, wipe our hands, right? He's over in La Liga. Let him get on with his football and let's move on. I think, as I say, I think the fans will appreciate him, but I think they're ready to move on, and I'm sure the lads at the club are, because there's nothing worse than a player who's a disruptive influence in the dressing room.
All right, thanks so much, Paul Mariner. So Diego Costa on his way back to Atletico Madrid, and for all three parties, it seems like a win-win situation. Yeah.